I was a fan, I'd be mad at me too.
That's Sam Pittman after Saturday's blowout loss to Notre Dame. And tonight, he's out as Arkansas's head coach, leaving with a 32-34 record.
Not surprised, just a little in shock that it was this sudden.
Right now, reaction from state leaders, a closer look at Pittman's multi-million-dollar buyout and what lies ahead for interim head coach Bobby Petrino. A special edition of 5 News at 5:30 starts now.
It's the news we were expecting, but maybe not so soon. Sam Pittman is out as the head coach of Arkansas. He's losing his job in his 6th year. We're taking a live look there at Razorback Stadium, where Arkansas, really, that was the catalyst, losing to Notre Dame 56-13 yesterday. I think fans went into that game. Sam Pittman's seat was extremely hot, and I personally believe that his job was safe if they lost a close one. They just couldn't lose in the manner and fashion in which they did. It was a blowout, it was on national television, and the university took very swift action, and here we are, the Hogs now searching for a new head coach.
Right, and I think after the Ole Miss loss and the Memphis loss, how they lost those with a fumble at the end, that also just kind of helped their case probably to get Sam out of this one because of the Notre Dame loss as well.
Well, and you could see it through those games, really throughout the season. There was sort of a lack of discipline. They were making mistakes. They were turning the ball over. They were having penalties in crucial moments. And then really yesterday, I think I commented to you in the press box, it just kind of seemed like the team was flat. They were still in the game just a little bit in the second half, but the fight just wasn't there, and it kind of drained out. And I said, you know, when a team stops fighting, I think that's when you know it's time. And again, Hunter Yurachek putting that statement out today. We have that statement for you. If we can go ahead and pop that up, you can see exactly what he said there. He said, I want to thank Coach Pittman for his service and dedication to the University of Arkansas throughout his time as head coach. And from day one, you could tell how much this opportunity meant to him. However, I feel a change is necessary to put our student athletes and program in the best position to be successful. They want to compete on a national stage and in the SEC. Hunter Yurachek would go on to say that he will begin a national search for the next head coach immediately. That search will also include Bobby Petrino, who has expressed his desire to be a candidate for the full-time job. We'll get into all of that and more here coming up, but we can talk about the firing and what led to it, and really Sam Pittman's tenure here at Arkansas, Robin. He had a losing record, 32-34 overall, 14-29 in the SEC, and perhaps the most glaring statistic, 7-19 in one-score games. That's the most in the nation since 2020. Yeah,
and that's definitely not a stat that you want to be tied to. And in his 6th season, you know, starting out 0-1 SEC play, and then, like I mentioned, having that loss to Memphis, and then yesterday does not help his case at all. And coming in from Georgia, there was quite a bit of hype around Sam Pittman just because he was coming in. He did so well at Georgia during his time there, and hopefully that was going to be able to transfer over into Arkansas a little bit, because also we'll talk about later just the carousel of head coaches that this program has had recently is not good.
Yeah, a lot of turnover at this program, and when Sam first stepped in, it seemed like he might be able to be the one to right the ship, and I think Hunter put it very, very eloquently in that statement. You could tell from the moment that Sam Pittman accepted this job, he loved the University of Arkansas. He loved the Razorbacks. He loved the state. That was never in question. That man, say what you want about how the outcome of the game shook out for Sam in his tenure, but that man right there you're seeing as he walked off the field for the final time yesterday, looking up at the fans, he gave everything to this state. He just wasn't maybe the right one for this job. And it's unfortunate because when you have a coach that has a passion like that, those are the ones that you want to see succeed. And again, nobody can question how he felt about the state and that team. And it's just really a shame that he couldn't get it done for them.
Yeah, and even Coach Pittman even realized after the game yesterday that the writing was kind of on the wall for him. He even said that, you know, fans should be mad at him. We said at the opening of the show there. And at least he realized that, but I know that was difficult for him, especially just being on the hot seat as he has been for the past couple of years.
In fact, here's what Coach Pittman said after the game about being frustrated.
I understand. I mean, I get it. If I was a fan, I'd be mad at me too. You know, I'd be frustrated as hell with me. But here's what I'll say. As long as I'm the head coach at Arkansas, I'm going to fight my butt off to get the guys out there. And how long that is, that's not – it is partly up to me because of what we put on the field. but that's not my call. And if I'm worried about that all the time, I won't be able to do as good a job as I possibly can. But I will say this: if I was the fans, I'd be mad at me too.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I was going to say, like we mentioned, Coach Pittman coming in 2019, being hired here, like you mentioned, that record 32-34, not what fans want to see, especially since he's been here. This is in his 6th season. And looking at the numbers from his records, the one that stands out to me, obviously, are those SEC numbers. That's not what you want to see. 4-4, 3-5, 1-7. 2-5, and then starting out this season 0-1. As an Arkansas fan, especially in one of the toughest conferences in the nation, those numbers, I would circle those, and whoever is coming in next, that you cannot be like this.
Yeah, you have to win in your conference, but you also have to win in one-score games, and that's where I want to turn my attention to. 7-19, as I mentioned earlier, in one-possession games, the most in the nation they've lost since 2020. That is really something incredible, and I think that is the word and why frustration is so abundant and has been boiling below the surface for so long with Arkansas. Because if I had to pick one word to describe Sam Pittman's tenure here, I would say almost. They almost won the big game. They almost got over the hill. They almost pulled it off. I believe I saw a shirt recently on social media that said something to the effect of, they almost always almost win.
Yeah.
And I think that is really what defines his time as the Arkansas head coach, is they were the team that almost did it. But unfortunately, in the SEC, as you pointed out, looking at those records, almost just isn't going to cut it. You have to be competitive, and you have to win those big games. You don't have to win them all, but you do have to win them.
Right, exactly. And like we also mentioned, when looking back at those numbers, none of those numbers were above 500. His first season here with 4-4, that is the best that he was able to do in the SEC. And the SEC, like I mentioned, the most competitive in the entire nation. You have to be able to compete with Bama and Georgia. You can't say anything against, recruiting and stuff like that, because the pond is open. There's plenty of fish in there. You just got to reel them in, and that's hard for him to do.
Well, and if we've seen anything from Hunter Yurachek, he has had the ability to reel in big fish. We saw that with Coach Cal. That was a splash hire. We're going to get into potential names to see a little bit later in the show. But yeah, I would imagine that he's going to go for something big like that, especially after the comments he made last week saying that the football program, specifically the football program, cannot compete for national titles. And I do think that this move was made in part to sort of mitigate the damage from that statement for Hunter. Yeah,
and then you're looking at Bobby Petrino coming in as interim head coach to see if he can kind of steer the ship back in some sort of direction, at least get a few more quality wins. I mean, you have the bye week to kind of process everything. The guys can kind of just lay low for a little bit. Then you got to gear back up for Tennessee, which is not going to be an easy one. We don't have to talk about Tennessee right now. We're talking about Sam Pittman.
We are on the bye week. We are talking about Sam Pittman. A lot of people are talking about his contract buyout. What do those numbers look like? Now, there was some discussion, should they wait to the end of the season because of the monetary implications here. Now, that is the contract buyout. It is an interesting one, right? His record was built into it. You see it there. A record better than 500 since 2021. And he would be owed $9.3 million at the time of firing. That's what ended up happening. So Sam Pittman is being paid $9.3 million to go to his lake house now after being let go by the Razorbacks. Now, if they had waited to the end of the season and the trajectory had stayed on, well, the trajectory that it was on, that winning record since 2021 would have dropped below 500, which means he has lost more games than he's won since 2021. They would have owed him $5.7 million. As you can see, his current record stands at 29-27, so that is why he is owed $9.3 million from the university. We were talking about it last night on Hog Zone. Is $3.6 million really worth it? I personally thought it was a win-win to keep him here. He either turns the team around, in which case you have a winning team, or you're more of the same, and you save $3.6 million at the end of the year to get a new head coach in.
Well, and I think, the donors and the boosters just proved that it really didn't matter. They were done with having Sam Pittman as the head coach here, and whatever's going to happen at the rest of the season, it's all on Bobby Petrino now. So I think they decided, let's just eat this money now and hopefully get somebody better in the coming months.
Yeah, and a lot of people are sort of the sense I get on social media, Robin. I'm not huge on there, but I do delve in a little bit. Is they want a clean house, and I don't think that's the solution either. I mean, you need somebody to come in and run this football team, and Bobby Petrino has a track record here at Arkansas. Now, will he ultimately be the guy that has the job long term? Maybe not, but you can't just have the ball boy come in and be the head coach for the rest of the year. So the people that are saying get rid of everybody, remember this team still has to compete. They still have 8 football games left this year.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at what Bobby has been able to do for the offense, it's been positive. Now, the eyes kind of go toward Travis Williams and defense, especially after giving up over 600 yards yesterday, 420 of those just in the first half alone. I know Sam Pittman's seat was hot, but I think Coach Williams' seat is even getting a little bit hotter after that game.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people, and that might be why this is so shocking, is that the Arkansas defense through the last 3 games, Ole Miss, Memphis, and now Notre Dame, has given up 43 points per game across those 3, and that is just unacceptable. And when the offense can't cover up those mistakes, when they face a good team like Notre Dame, they get held to 13, just 1 touchdown. The first time they didn't reach the end zone twice in a game this season, it becomes all the more glaring what your issues are. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people were thinking that Travis Williams, T-Will, though beloved by the team and the players, would be the one to go. That would maybe quell the fan base, put down the fire a little bit, and let Sam Pittman continue. But the university deciding, no, we're going right to Sam. He's out. Boy, Sam made it sound like some other changes might be coming in his post-game press conference yesterday. So we still may see Travis Williams go. But we do know for sure Bobby Petrino is safe. He is stepping in as the interim head coach here. But of course, don't take our word for all this reaction. We have some Razorback fans. They have not been silent when it comes to wanting to see a change after a losing streak.
Yeah, and our team coverage will continue with 5 News reporter Laura Castleman, who's been talking to the fans and getting their reaction to Pittman's firing. Laura?
Yeah, that's right, guys. As soon as I found out the head coach, Sam Pittman, had been fired from the University of Arkansas, my photographer, Marlon, and I hit the sidewalks of the university to find out just how these students are feeling about the leadership change. Now, some students told me they saw this coming, while other students said they felt bad. Here's what else they said.
I think it's going to be a good choice for us, like given how our last games have been going, clearly something needs to change.
It was definitely shocking. I wasn't expecting it, but whenever I saw it, I also didn't believe it was real.
I asked my roommate if it was real because I thought it was fake. Because I saw it on Instagram, and I mean, people make things all the time. And so I thought, oh, maybe people were just upset that we lost yesterday. So
I'm not necessarily that surprised, given that our team hasn't been doing as solid as we'd expected with our players and our head coach. But just whenever we're performing at a level like that, I mean, it's kind of a given that somebody has to go.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll have more on this coming up on your 5 News tonight after NFL. For now, I'm live in Fayetteville, covering news where you live. Laura Castleman, 5 News.
Thank you, Laura. Of course, though, the student body, not the only thing buzzing with this. Social media, who would have thought it, just ablaze today. Hogs fans sharing their thoughts and feelings on the firing of Sam Pittman. You can see this one right here, Robin. I know you were kind of looking at these earlier. Kavion Henderson with a touching pick there, hugging Coach Pitt.
Yeah, and I've seen quite a few players give their, sadness and sorrows a little bit for Coach Pittman, as you see there, Quincy Rowe Jr. It's sad to see that because you know that Sam Pittman has a great relationship with all of these players on the team and with the coaching staff. So when you see things like this, it does kind of make things a little bit tougher, especially their FaceTime call, CJ Brown, who's a local guy himself.
Well, that Quincy Rhodes one, I mean, you saw he had that relationship. I think that's the key word with all of this, relationship with Coach Pittman since 10th grade. I mean, Coach Pittman is going into these young men's homes when they're in high school, building that up. He really is a father figure to a lot of these guys. And it's because the parents are trusting him with their kids. They look up to Sam Pittman, and say what you want about the coaching on the field, but he has set a great example and foundation for these young men moving forward. He is a tremendous role model, and I don't think anyone can say anything to the contrary.
Yeah, and that's what matters the most. I mean, having those relationships, getting the players here, whether it's, in recruitment or having them signed, that's very important because that relationship is going to go beyond just the 4 or 3 years that they're here on the Hill, because now you see former players coming back all the time, coming to the games, having fun, seeing Coach Pittman there. So that is definitely just somberly to see.
And that's the thing, right? Football is a game, but it's a game that prepares you for the ultimate team game, which is life, and Sam Pittman clearly has done a great job there. Also weighing in on the situation is the governor, Robin.
Yes, Governor Sanders sharing her thoughts on the change in leadership for Arkansas football. She says in part, quote, Sam Pittman helped turn around the Arkansas football program from one of its all-time lows and brought energy and excitement back to the Hogs that was desperately needed. And I've always appreciated how much Sam loved Arkansas and wasn't looking to use it as a stepping stone, but a place to call home. And then she went on to say Bobby Petrino has demonstrated a track record of winning at Arkansas, and we can hope he can bring the team together and lead them to the finish of the season strong. And we'll be cheering Bobby and the Razorbacks on forever and always. Woo Pig.
Well, continuing our team coverage now, Bobby Petrino is taking over as the Hogs interim head coach. As we said there, he will lead them for the rest of the season. Lauren right here by the desk with us.
Yeah, Lauren joining us now. You've been back there in the offensive coordinator, obviously, Bobby Petrino coming back. It's not the first time he's been the head hog with Razorback football. Lauren, just tell us a little bit more about what we're getting with Petrino.
Yeah, definitely. He's back in the role that he held more than a decade ago now. And Petrino got hired as the offensive coordinator back in November 2023. Feels like it was honestly really recent that this happened. But we do know that his first stint in Fayetteville did come with some success, but also some controversy.
Petrino served as the head coach for the Hogs starting in 2008. After a slow start, going 5-7, he led the team to the Sugar Bowl in 2011, making it the first bowl appearance for the Razorbacks in 2 decades. And in 2012, he took the Hogs to the Cotton Bowl, beating Kansas State. Petrino went 34-17 in his career with the Hogs, finishing the 2011 season number 5 in the final AP Top 25 poll. He was then abruptly fired in April 2012 after a motorcycle accident involving a female staff member. After leaving Arkansas, Petrino coached elsewhere, including Missouri State, where he made his return to Razorback Stadium in 2022. He spent the 2023 season as an offensive coordinator at Texas A&M before rejoining the Hogs in 2023. Since then, Arkansas has had one of the best offenses in the country, finishing last season 15th in total offense. And currently, the Hogs sit at 10th in the country in the category this season.
Petrino signed a 2.5-year contract when he first became the offensive coordinator, and he was set to earn $3.4 million over the course of that contract, which is set to last through February 2026. So we'll see what happens.
Well, thank you, Lauren. Of course, he's stepping in as the interim head coach. Excited to see what he's going to do. Being an Arkansas alum yourself, I know you're maybe excited to see Bobby Petrino lead the Hogs back to the glory days.
Yeah, people always say that they, became a Hog fan during the Petrino era.
Right.
Obviously, lots of success there. So we'll have to see what happens.
We will indeed, which segues us nicely to, is he the man for the job long term? It's possible, but there are plenty of other candidates. We'll see if any of these maybe excite Lauren here. We got Bobby Petrino, obviously, currently the Arkansas offensive coordinator. Now, his biggest upside, of course, he knows the program. But below that, you might not want to hire in-house, Robin, so you got to look elsewhere. You said, where are the big fish? Sometimes you got to try and search them out.
Yeah, I don't know if Dan Mullen might be the guy for the Hogs, but that one kind of stands out for me. And John Gruden, I think you just add him because it's fun. I mean, he's John Gruden. I'm excited to see what SMU's head coach, Rhett Lashley, can do here, because he was a former Hog. He's from Springdale, so he knows exactly what it takes to be a part of this program and exactly what the Razorback faithful are looking for. Who are you looking at, Alex?
Boy, I'm looking at this whole, they're all interesting, right? Now, you look there, you see John Sumrall, the Tulane head coach, Rhett Lashley, SMU, Jeff Traylor, UTSA, and then, oh boy, a name that Hog fans maybe aren't too keen on right now, Ryan Silverfield. But you look at those guys, I know SMU just moved to the ACC, but that group of 4 right there, coming from smaller schools. So do you want to bring in somebody from a smaller school and trust that, well, they built that program up into something, they can build our program up into something? Maybe, but the risk there is they're not used to the level of competition in the SEC. Recruiting's a different animal, the talent's a different animal. Or, do you risk that, or do you go to somebody that has an established name but might cost you a little bit more, might be closer to the end of their career, might not be able to give you the longevity you want? That's, looking at Dan Mullen, Gus Malzahn. both with tremendous upside, both with a tremendous amount of SEC experience. They know how to build a program, but maybe toward the end of their career. And then, of course, my favorite name on here, if nothing else for just the clickbait, is Jon Gruden. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, I don't know. I don't know that Chucky's going to come back and coach. That seems crazy to talk about bringing him into Arkansas. However, we mentioned, Robin, earlier, Hunter Yurachek likes to make a splash. He showed that with the Coach Cal hire, right? It wouldn't be inconceivable for him to go get Jon Gruden, who has said he would die to coach in the SEC. He's been dying to come back. So I don't think Gruden is out of the question here. And it would certainly be getting the attention of donors, boosters, everybody would want to come back and check out Jon Gruden, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a phone call that you probably write down that you want to make. But I'm looking at some of the guys who have the SEC experience. I think that's where you would make those first few phone calls, because you want somebody who knows what it's like to be in the SEC,
of course, yes,
play in the SEC and compete in the SEC, but also recruit in the SEC, especially with our NIL deals that are happening now. You can just go pick out whatever player you kind of want, and you can kind of just add them to the Hogs, because that's exactly what they need and what they're going to have in order to compete next season and beyond.
Well, look, looking at this list before we wrap it up, I would say Rhett Lashley is the hottest name on that list. I think it'd be a nice story for Arkansas. I think you could sell that very well, being from Springdale and having coached and played with the Hogs. But I think the obvious answer is Bobby Petrino. So do you want to go with the hottest name? Do you want to go with the click getter in Jon Gruden? Or do you want to go with the obvious pick in Bobby Petrino, who, as we know, has been the Arkansas head coach before, but it has been a tumultuous time for the Hogs when it comes to coaching and their history there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go back to Bobby Petrino's era, I mean, great era, like Lauren mentioned. A lot of people became Hog fans during that Bobby Petrino era, but I think, you know, sometimes it might be good to just start off fresh and start off new. Bobby's done great things here, and he's proven that in these last 2 seasons with the offense. But since Bobby has left, it's been a bit of a carousel with the Hogs coaching, just, you know, going up and down. As you can see here, a few interim head coaches there. Not exactly what Hog fans probably are looking for. I mean, Sam being here the longest almost, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, Sam Pittman, clearly the longest tenure there from 2020 to 2025. There's not really a name that stands out there. I don't know that you want to bring any of those guys back. I know Brett Bielema is having some success. But, you know, do you go young? And Arkansas is a program that, as you can see, want somebody to be here for the long term. They want somebody that loves the university, that wants to be here, and that can lead this program to a successful run for a decade, 15 years, maybe 20 years, a Nick Saban type run, which, you know, I didn't put that name on there, but old Nick might want to come back. Saint Nick coming back to save the Hogs? Could be, but the overall point is they're going to want somebody that can be here for a long time and sustain success that they have clearly been thirsting for a long, long time. This program, we've talked about it, might be cursed. We're not sure how they lose some of their football games and across the other sports. Boy, they would have a statue out front of Razorback Stadium if they can get the right coaching hire in and he can bring this fan base what they want.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no good side about firing Coach Pittman so early on in the season, but it does give you enough time to be able to kind of go in and look in your Rolodex, see who you can call, see who the donors can call as well. So I'm excited to see who they're going to pick out of this whole bunch. It's going to be interesting these next few months, but hopefully Bobby can kind of, you know, like I mentioned earlier, steer the ship back in the right direction. I mean, with the offense that he's been able to put up, I think that's well on its way. You just got to get the defense to match that and be able to compete, especially when they get deeper in the SEC play later on in the season.
Well, that's the thing, Robin, I think you pointed out, and I think something that fans need to understand in this situation is that the coaching hire, I mean, I've been wrong before, but the coaching hire is probably not going to come here in the next couple weeks. It's probably not going to come within the next couple months. It's probably going to come in the off season, maybe around bowl season or maybe a couple months after while coaches figure out their priorities. So fan base, be patient. Don't expect for Arkansas to go out and sign a big name guy and have them step in mid-season and start coaching this program. I am willing to bet money that it's going to be Bobby Petrino's from here until the end. And then that's where things are going to get very interesting. So, of course, big news today. We'll continue to cover it tomorrow. There is a press conference at noon. Hunter Yurachek, Bobby Petrino will be speaking. We'll bring that to you. But don't expect for any other large news to come out of this situation really past that, I think.
No, and yeah, just keep on holding on, Hogs fans. I know it's difficult to say that, especially when they make such a big hiring like this a day after the Notre Dame loss, when you're kind of feeling low. So hopefully some things will start turning around. And like you mentioned, that press conference happening tomorrow. So we're going to stay on top of all that and the latest when it comes to Sam Pittman's firing. And we'll hear from Coach Petrino and Hunter Yurachek tomorrow. You can watch that press conference and all of our coverage right here on 5+. Download on your TV and watch it for free.
Well, I think our producer is saying you two have talked enough. I think we've covered this from just about every angle, but we will continue to bring you all the information. However, we're taking a break. Lauren and Noah are back after this break with your latest headlines and local forecast.